What if the Force revived Yoda and sent him back to Episode 1? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Yoda gasps as his eyes shoot open and he looks around. He's back in the Jedi Temple, but not the one it is now. The temple it once was. Hobbling over to the window, he feels his chest clench up as he sees it vibrant, rich, and filled with Jedi and younglings in the courtyard. The fires and damages it had suffered during Order 66 are gone, as if they never happened, and he sees many of his old friends, even those who had already passed. It is not just the temple either. He feels younger, more vibrant, less exhausted by the chaos of the galaxy. He shakes his head. This is not right. Something about this is not true. It is an illusion, he tells himself, a trick of the dark side. The last thing he remembers was that he was training on Dagobah, trying to unlock the living force when he felt it recoil. The tranquility of the planet was shattered in an instant as he felt the powers of the Force go wild. It is as if it sensed the chaos and imbalance in the galaxy and lashed out. Realization soon dawns on the old Jedi Master. This is the Force reacting to it. Taking a deep breath, he tries to meditate yet again. Closing his eyes, he reaches out to the Force. While everything else has changed, the Force remains constant, and it answers his pleas. Visions flood through him of a fleet of Trade Federation ships. They orbit around a pristine blue and green planet, while on the ground, battle droids march across a city, rounding up citizens and arresting them. Naboo. The Naboo blockade. Then he realizes it. He has been sent here to change things. He is in his old body during this time. This is where the chaos began, where Palpatine began his quest for power. The Force is trying to tell him to cut it off at the source. Yoda concentrates and pushes deeper, reaching into the Force for answers. It is a difficult task, something he doubts he can do on his own. Perhaps he needs Qui-Gon or Plo Koon, but the vision that greets him takes him off guard. He sees Maul striding through Theed Palace, accompanying Newt Gunray and his minions. He shakes his head. That cannot be right. But the visions persist, and though he tries to think of the others, the Force continues to reveal Maul's cruel visage.
Difficult. You are making this. Very well.
He takes a deep breath and makes his way over to the Jedi Council chambers. They are discussing what shall become of things now that they have proof there is a Sith in the Trade Federation.
No. I shall go with you to confront this Sith warrior.
You? Do you wish to join us, Master Yoda?
Have experience dealing with these warriors. Useful I could be.
Master Yoda, is that wise? Surely you will be needed here to help manage the affairs of the Jedi while the Republic transitions to the new government.
Voting they are to address the Naboo crisis, but settling the matter, we are.
There is little they can say to challenge this, so instead the Jedi all agree. Yoda does remain adamant that both Anakin and Obi-Wan remain here in the Jedi Temple. He says how it is too dangerous for them to face a fully trained Sith Lord. While Qui-Gon wishes to protest, he can see there is no changing Yoda's mind. There is something else about him, a certainty about him that wasn't there, and change in the Force. His entire presence feels different. Throughout the journey, Yoda remains quiet about that, simply saying that they must focus on the task at hand and avoid the question. When they arrive, they join the rest of the Naboo resistance in storming the capital. As Padme leads her troops into the palace, Yoda pauses and feels something shifting in the Force. Qui-Gon stands beside him and frowns.
You sense it too. He's here.
Be on your guard, we must.
The two grip their lightsabers tightly as they make their way deeper into the palace. The darkness is always present, silently whispering at them, but never clearly forming. It is like a shroud that hides its user's presence. At least until they reach one hallway where the group stops to catch their breath, and then he leaps down from the ceiling. Maul's lightsaber ignites as he whirls around, his lightsaber cutting through the security forces with ease. Padme stumbles to the ground and stares up at Maul, who smirks.
Darth Maul, I presume.
So you've heard of me. I'm flattered.
He grins and lunges forward, saber staff whirling around. Both Jedi are ready and bring their lightsabers up. The impact sends Qui-Gon straining to hold back the attack, yet Yoda has no problem holding it back. As Maul pushes forward, Yoda leaps overhead and lands behind him. His lightsaber flashes, but the warrior turns to parry his strike. Qui-Gon takes the opportunity to attack, but he stops them as well.
Do not falter. Strike as one.
The two roar and strike from either side, causing Maul to continue whirling to avoid their attacks. This slowly drives him back, and he eventually leaps from this attack and lands back as the two face him. Cursing, he tries to advance toward Qui-Gon and rains down attacks, his saber staff spinning in a deadly arc. The Jedi Master struggles to halt these blows and finds himself being pushed back. As he blocks one overhead strike, Maul chuckles and then flips his lightsaber, aiming a stab at his gut with the second blade. Unfortunately for him, Yoda sees this too. His hand reaches out and catches the blade, halting it in place. Maul curses and tries to pull his lightsaber free, but Yoda grabs hold of its handle while shoving him back, knocking the weapon from his hands. Maul's eyes widen as Yoda holds the weapon against his throat.
Defeated you are.
Do it then.
No, not your death I wish, but your cooperation.
What? Master Yoda, what is the meaning of this?
Always true. A master and an apprentice. An apprentice this is. Wish to know where the master is? I do.
And you expect me to just tell you?
No. Inform me you will to save your life.
Are you threatening me? I know a Jedi will not harm an unarmed man.
But your master will.
Qui-Gon frowns. He looks at Yoda with uncertainty. For the first time, he truly questions why the Jedi Master wished to come here. It hardly feels like it was just to stop the Sith. Instead, it seems like Yoda has his own agenda he isn't talking about. When he looks at the Grand Master again, Qui-Gon senses something off about him. His presence is strange, warped, and unnatural. His lightsaber grips in his hand. At the same time, Maul is also looking less sure of himself. He avoids Yoda's gaze and now seriously considers this possibility. The more he does, the more his doubts cross his face. There certainly is more truth to it than he realizes.
You know I can't give you his identity. He will kill me.
Not allow that. I will.
He is more powerful than you realize.
As am I.
They lock gazes, and Maul tries to draw himself up. His bright yellow eyes glare at the wizened Jedi. He follows by baring his fangs at him, but Yoda does not break. He senses something off about the Jedi. While he knows that he is powerful despite his size, there is something else. A sense of authority and power that wasn't there before, and willpower unlike anything he's encountered. The willpower of someone who has seen much and moves with absolute certainty. He looks away.
You will need information. All of the information in the databanks is held on the flagship.
Yoda slowly pulls his weapons aside and allows Maul to rise. He then hands him his lightsaber and gestures for him to lead the way. Smirking, the Night Brother begins sprinting down the hall. By now, the rest of the party had already gone ahead to search for Newt Gunray, leaving only the Jedi. Qui-Gon lingers behind, staring at Yoda, who runs after Maul. His mind is still racing and trying to make sense of what just happened. It all happened so fast and he can hardly make sense of it, but he cannot shake off the feeling that something is happening. They hop onto Maul's ship and make their way over to the flagship. They can land in silence thanks to Maul's command codes, but his departure from Theed raises some surprise from Gunray, who is terrified of losing his greatest protector. This leads him to send a contingent of droids to escort him. As the door opens, blaster fire erupts. Qui-Gon and Maul leap forward like twin bolts of lightning. Their blades whirl and flash, sending limbs, heads, and smoking torsos flying through the air. Yoda floats out behind them, lifting entire squads of droids with the Force and crushing them in midair like discarded scrap. Maul vaults over a transport crate, slicing a droid commander in half before flipping backward and blocking incoming fire. They blaze through the corridors. Maul snarls and dashes ahead, slicing one droideka just before its shields fully deploy. Yoda follows, launching him off a wall and disarming two guards in mid-spin. Qui-Gon uses the Force to rip a sealed door clean off its hinges, launching it like a discus into a pack of droids. The central command node flickers as Yoda lands atop the console and stabs his blade downward, cutting off reinforcements. Yoda silently moves to another console. He scans it for a moment, then nods.
Central override this is. The droids. Shut them down, we can.
Yoda presses his hand against the terminal, using the Force to synchronize the command codes. A pulse radiates through the system, and the signal bursts forward. All across the city, battle droids suddenly freeze. In mid-step, mid-sentence, tanks cease firing. Droid starfighters power down. Confused Nemoidians stare at flickering monitors. Yoda breathes slowly as he removes his hand.
Done. It is.
I was just starting to enjoy myself.
Then prepare to enjoy what comes next. We have proof now.
He chuckles and returns to activate the ship, but Qui-Gon lingers behind and grabs Yoda by the arm.
Master, what is going on here?
I sense there is something you are not telling me.
Indeed. Much there is you do not know, Qui-Gon. But understand this. Right you were about the living force. Only by studying it could I truly commune with the galaxy and hear where the force would take me.
The Force. Your presence here. It has not felt right. Something was off about it.
Here I am, but not from your time, I am. From the future I have come, brought here by the Force I was, to ensure balance.
The future. That is why your presence feels so strange. So you know who the Sith Lord is.
Great terror he shall unleash. Powerless the Jedi are to stop him. Destroy this problem from the bud, I must. Yet to do that, I require evidence and an excellent source, like Maul.
Qui-Gon can only stare, and Yoda expects to be challenged, or even mocked for making such claims. It certainly sounds mad, but he is surprised to feel a hand on his shoulder, and the Jedi Master smiles.
I understand. I believe you, Master. While it does sound strange, the Force does not lie. Very well. Let us do this.
With that, the Naboo crisis comes to an end as the Trade Federation no longer has the means to enforce its blockade. Instead, they are forced to come to terms with the Republic, and Nute Gunray is arrested for his actions. The Senate can now breathe a sigh of relief, thanking the Chancellor for this early win and how it will allow them to rest easier. But this relief is short-lived, as while the Chancellor announces his victory speech, Yoda appears and holds up the data chip.
Captured the face of this operation you have, but not the organizer. Deeper this conspiracy goes, right into the heart of the Republic.
And what exactly do you mean by that, Master Yoda? He smiles and regards the ancient Jedi. Yet his triumphant grin fades as he holds up a data chip and sees a hooded figure standing beside them. Though his features are hidden, Palpatine can sense his apprentice's presence. The data chip is soon placed in the terminal and showcases all of Palpatine's hidden contacts with the Trade Federation before the invasion. It shows the business dealings, investments, and secret commands. This is when Maul speaks, announcing that he had helped leak information on critical sites and important individuals to target by Palpatine. He was even sent to Naboo as a go-between for him and Nute Gunray, and to help eliminate the Jedi if they became involved. He backs it up with logs from his ship, showing the communications between the two. With that, the Senate erupts into shocked cries. Some eagerly denounce Palpatine, and others are too stunned to react, but he has not yet been able to craft a powerful network of allies. Those few who are affiliated with him go quiet, as none are willing to implicate themselves with him. Soon the order is clear, and they vote for his arrest, but Palpatine will not go quietly. A lightsaber appears from his sleeve, and he leaps into the nearest repulsor pod. The hapless senator and his guards are swiftly cut down as Palpatine makes a run for it. Alarms are blaring. Smoke and panic fill the chamber. Security guards scramble in all directions as Chancellor Palpatine cuts down anyone who stands in his path. He dashes through a shattered door, his red lightsaber glowing as it cuts a molten line across the walls. A wave of force energy blasts open the next corridor, sending fleeing aides flying. But as he clears the hallway, Master Yoda appears beyond the door.
Master Yoda, wait. We need to regroup.
No. End this now, I must.
Without waiting for either companion, Yoda leaps at him, using the Force to propel himself with deadly speed. Palpatine sidesteps and blocks the slash. It sends him knocking against the wall, but Yoda does not give him the time to breathe. The Jedi pounces on him, his lightsaber flashing back and forth as his attacks grow more aggressive. Though the Sith initially struggles with these attacks, sensing the power and speed, the movements begin to grow clumsy as Yoda becomes singularly focused on taking him down. He does not slow down and slashes the Chancellor's legs. However, this time, Palpatine is ready and halts the attack.
End of your path, this is.
You're so desperate to change fate, old fool, that you've become predictable.
Palpatine's lightsaber snaps up, and the two clash in a blinding flurry. Moving so fast, the dim corridor seems lit by a strobe of red and green. He thrusts and nearly takes Yoda's head, but the Grand Master jerks it back and sees the lightsaber inches from his face, and then presses at him, trying to force Palpatine to avoid the attack. Yoda presses forward recklessly, overcommitting to powerful blows, but Palpatine, unburdened by restraint, duels with deadly precision. He feints, catching Yoda off balance, and lashes out with a blast of Sith lightning, hurling the Jedi Master back. Yoda slams into a power conduit. sparks flying as he groans in pain. But a double-bladed lightsaber flies past the Sith Lord, forcing him to jerk back as Maul appears and pulls it back into his hand. Palpatine sneers, but before he can speak, Qui-Gon joins the fight, leaping from the shadows with his blade in hand. He grips his lightsaber, but knows he cannot win against all three. So instead, he unleashes another burst of lightning that sends them raising their lightsabers and blocking. Smoke rises from the explosion, and when it dissipates, Palpatine is nowhere to be seen.
Coward! Hasty, I was. Blind, even now. Lost him, we have.
Don't count on him staying quiet for long. He'll strike again. Harder. Then we need to be ready next time.
And with that, the Jedi begin preparing for war. As the Jedi Council hears about Yoda and Qui-Gon's actions, they realize how serious the situation is and go on high alert. The Knights are prepared to move out, and younglings are kept close to their masters. Meanwhile, the Jedi's best are dispatched across the galaxy to search for Palpatine, hoping to stop him before he strikes again. However, despite their best efforts, they find no sign of him, as he seems to have disappeared off the face of the galaxy. All of the masters turn up empty, leaving them more concerned about his disappearance. When at last the Sith strike, it comes in the most unexpected place. While their Jedi Masters and Knights pour through the galaxy in search of Palpatine, their clerks and administrators begin to notice something strange. In the Jedi's budgets, a series of anomalies. The bank accounts of the Jedi Order are suddenly frozen, preventing them from making purchases. Payments to critical services like equipment and transportation are not processed, leaving some of the Jedi stranded across the galaxy. Afterward, their allies report pulling out support from the Order. Critical supplies like food and water are no longer funneled. To make matters worse, a series of damning reports suddenly surface about the spending of the Jedi Order. They publicize the bank records of the Order, and yet the numbers seem off. Someone had tampered with them, intentionally fudging the numbers to make it appear as though they were spending far more on extravagant expenditures. With the Senate already shaken up by the recent exposure of Palpatine, many are jumpy and pounce on this. They demand full accountability from the Jedi, and for them to audit their numbers. That process has been made more difficult with their assets frozen. As they scramble to try and settle these issues, the Jedi in the Outer Rim are attacked. Spread out and isolated, they begin to fall one by one to a mysterious warrior. His skill with a lightsaber is unmatched, and a dozen fall before they get any credible data. There, they see a blurred transmission of a Jedi trying to defend against an attack from an unseen force before the lightsaber flashes and cuts him down. They immediately assume it's Palpatine, and Yoda volunteers to hunt him down alongside Maul and Qui-Gon. While the latter are eager to depart, they are less certain about bringing Yoda along, still recalling how he allowed Palpatine to escape the first time. It is something they are fearful of repeating.
Master, are you certain you wish to join us again? Are you sure you are prepared to confront Palpatine?
Worried you are about the last time. Impulsive I was, but avoid that mistake, I will.
Yet Maul is not convinced. The Night Brother circles Yoda like a shark smelling blood and leans close, his yellow eyes burning bright in the dim light.
Are you certain about that, Master Jedi? Your weakness allowed him to escape the last time.
And your weakness allowed him to rise. It did.
Do not think yourself greater than me, Jedi. You have only faced Palpatine once. I have had a lifetime to train under him. Your weakness will not be my undoing.
Weakness it is to reject the dark side.
You think you've overcome it? When we first fought, there was fire in you, a ferociousness that I had not seen in another Jedi. But now that flame has gone astray. It does not focus on burning down its target. It rides unchecked.
Were we so different? Your actions, describe them, would you? A slave to darkness you have become. Powerful, you call yourself. Yet live in fear of the Sith, you do.
Bastard. I'll gut you for that.
Do it. But know it I do. Sense it within you, I have. Seen it. Fear Palpatine, you do.
Maul snarls and raises his fist, but Qui-Gon raises a hand and gestures them to stand down.
Enough. Very well, Master. Since you feel so strongly, I will allow it. But please, control yourself.
The three begin their search, but thanks to Maul, they do not go blind. They begin studying the records of the attacks, searching for a pattern, and see the trail of movement. This allows them to get a rough location of where they should be based. Thankfully, Maul uses his old knowledge of his master's holdings to know they have a secret base atop one of the forest moons. With this, the three set out to confront him just as another attack takes place, claiming the life of a Jedi Master. Rather than go to the site of the attack, they head to the forest moon and lay wait in ambush. Maul leads them through the thick foliage, his steps silent but certain as he recalls this place. He had spent much time training there, and as he makes his way deeper, he recalls being forced to fight for survival here, having to train under Palpatine. With each step, his anger grows. Behind him, Qui-Gon and Yoda keep their lightsabers ready, unsure if they have the right place until they see the outline of a doorway hidden beneath a rock. Just in time, too, as it opens up. The three ready their lightsabers as Palpatine steps out. He looks around and frowns, already sensing his presence.
Fools. You think yourselves clever for finding this place.
He wanted you to find it, for me to lead you here.
Before he can say any more, a series of holes burst from his chest, leaving his eyes widen as a lightsaber repeatedly jabs into him. The former Chancellor can only let out a gasp, looking down. The Jedi are equally stunned as they see him fall to the ground, but a dark presence washes over them. One much older and more powerful than Palpatine. One which leaves them frozen in place. That presence becomes figure as someone steps over the smoking corpse of Palpatine. Plagueis smiles as he regards them.
So, at last my apprentice proves himself good for something. What prizes has he brought me? The Grand Master of the Jedi Order and his fallen apprentice. What are you? Isn't it obvious, my boy? I am the architect, the one behind the chaos around you, the one who made Palpatine what he is.
No, it cannot be. Palpatine, he is the master.
Always, too. A master and an apprentice. Palpatine had forgotten that.
With that, he raises his lightsaber and the Jedi surround him. Maul still struggles to make sense of it all. For the longest time, he had thought Palpatine to be the pinnacle of the Sith, the greatest obstacle he had to overcome to master the dark side. Yet, as he looks at Plagueis, he realizes how wrong he had been. The Jedi did not hesitate. Yoda leapt first, his green blade crackling to life as he descended toward the Sith. Qui-Gon and Maul charged behind him, blades igniting with a chaos of hums and sparks. Plagueis met them all with terrifying poise, his saber flowing like water through their strikes and ignoring the crackling air. He moves without emotion, parrying Qui-Gon's aggression, slipping past Maul's heavy jabs, and matching Yoda's aerial fury with cruel efficiency. When they all swing at him, the large Sith somehow manages to slide through these attacks, his lightsaber always appearing at the last second and pushing them away. He did not fight like a warrior. He fought like a surgeon, dissecting each strike with practiced precision. The closest comes when Yoda ducks under this attack and lands a shallow cut across his waist. The Sith hisses in pain, stumbling, but kicking the troublesome Jedi aside. He tries to follow with a downward slash, but at the last second, Qui-Gon steps out and halts his attack. He shoves him back and then tries to follow up. Despite that, Plagueis uses the Force to rip some rocks from the ground and hurls it at them. The Jedi dodge the first few, but there are so many. Maul manages to intervene, landing in front of them and whirling his saber around, chipping the rocks to pebbles. Yoda leaps overhead and slashes at him. Though Plagueis dodges the attack, it allows Qui-Gon to kick him and for Maul to stab at him, forcing him to step back. He closes his eyes and raises his hand, reaching into the Force as he suddenly lets the dark side, hidden in his laboratory, out. It flows like a tidal wave, barreling downward towards them as stasis pods and bacta tanks open up. From the mist come shapes, some writhing, some crawling, some silent but watching. The things that emerge are not men. Half-formed monsters stagger forward, twisted fusions of flesh and metal, Jedi limbs stitched onto unnatural torsos, hollow-eyed creatures that whisper in pain. One was little more than a floating brain encased in glass, tentacles coiled beneath it, flickering with dark energy.
Creations in my image, each a step toward eternity.
Even Maul is stunned.
Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely out of your mind? This is truly disgusting.
The abominations rush forward. Screams and metal roars fill the forest. Yoda moves first, slicing through one of the monstrosities. He then leaps over a second, moving from beast to beast, staying one step ahead. Qui-Gon holds his ground and uses the Force to lift 3 up and throws them back. Plagueis smiles and rushes to Maul. Their lightsabers clash and he finds himself giving ground. He tries to sidestep, but the Sith Lord backhands him and sends him falling. Then he tries to roll onto his feet and avoid another strike, but Plagueis chases after him, sweeping his saber down again and again. All Maul can do is avoid and evade.
Fear not, Maul. No gods are these. Flesh, twisted, yes, but mortal still.
Maul blinked. He looked again, not at the monsters, but at Plagueis. For years he had believed power meant becoming like Palpatine, untouchable, eternal. But now he saw the truth. Palpatine had only started here. This was his origin, and that meant even this, he, could fall. And so could Plagueis. When he comes at him, Maul stands his ground and halts the attack. The two of them lock their weapons together and the Elder Sith tries to push him down, but Maul does not yield. He remains stubbornly committed until Yoda breaks through the abominations and dives under their attacks, slicing across his stomach. Plagueis gasps and yelps, breaking off the attack. Qui-Gon was there too, driving him back with a furious series of strikes. And then at last, the 3 strike, bringing their lightsabers down in a crushing blow that leaves him gasping for air. He rasps and stumbles, yet no one helps him as he drops to the ground. With that, the Sith are at last defeated, bringing their reign of terror to an end. Their victory allows the Republic to truly begin solving the problems left by their grand plan. Maul offers his aid for a pardon, using his knowledge to hunt down collaborators, while Yoda retires back to the temple, focusing on raising the new youngling with Qui-Gon, Anakin Skywalker. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.